Welcome to another presentation from the CV Academics Foundation, home of the AMP Honors Program.
Hello CV Academics and AMP Honors Program members, and welcome to another edition of What's on Tap, where this week I have the indistinguishable honor of sitting down with Pepper Burruss, longtime NFL athletic trainer, physical therapist with the New York Jets and Green Bay Packers. Now, growing up in Wisconsin, I'm a diehard Green Bay Packers fan. And it wasn't until about sophomore year of college, when I was in PT school, that my dad started to say, well, why don't you do what Pepper does every game? Why don't you do what Pepper does? Every time someone would get hurt, every time there was a timeout, Mr. Pepper Burruss would run out onto the field with a water bottle to make sure his athletes were okay. And every single time my dad would say, why don't you do what Pepper does? And so I decided to leave PT school to become an athletic trainer, go to grad school to become an athletic trainer in hopes of being just like Pepper Burruss. And now I have an opportunity to sit and talk with him about his career and what athletic training means to him. So thank you, Pepper, for taking the time to sit with me. And
well, the $100 I gave you for that introduction is not enough. You realize I had to pay your father, too.
Well, there's interest. We'll get to that later, though.
Golly, I mean, yeah, grow up to be like Pepper. Oh, my goodness, my kids would be laughing. They'd say, you don't want to be like my dad. He's banging off the walls. He's doing this. He can't sit still. Yep.
So I guess the first question then, I've gone to school and the system is obviously different educationally now, but what would you recommend to the field of students that's looking to be just like Pepper?
Okay, that's an easy volley. Is that you need to realize that this is obviously an information world, but I like to talk. I guess people still have resumes. Maybe they're not printed, show up, but particularly for athletic training jobs, and let's just talk professional sport, and because I have experience in the NFL, that the stack of resumes we get for summer interns, and I'll be dramatic here, is this tall.
My resume's in there somewhere.
Okay, and then we also get applications for full-time employment. Aside from that, I just tell the students is, what are you going to do to make your resume go from this stack to this stack to this stack? What do you mean, what am I going to do? Am I going to put perfume on it and make it on gold paper? I said, no, actually, that doesn't work. But what you put on that resume is what works. So what are you going to do to make your resume stand out from mine? Now, you can't put a bunch of crap on it, but I myself go back to where in English class I had to teach you how to do a resume, and it had to be on one page.
Yep.
Oh my goodness gracious. I don't want one page, because either it's micro fonts or things are left off. Make it 6 pages. I don't care if I'm looking at your resume, how big it is. I just don't want a lot of fluff, but I want to know what makes you tick and what makes you different than the person I'm also thinking about. Experiences, hobbies, I'll call it the way I see it. Things I'm not really allowed to ask you, about. I don't want to say, my family's this. Tell me what I need to know to hire you. Now, again, I'm being ignorant of current HR laws of what I know things you can't ask, but if you tell me, it's okay.
Yeah.
Experiences, volunteer work, nonprofit work. I already said hobbies, things you've done, lectures, whatever. I know a CV is, for academics, and I don't like to write. I've participated in some book chapters and and in fact, I'll tell you the fact that I do not have a resume, still to this day. Started to have one, but having these jobs I've had, I got them without a resume. I got them without an application. That's not real. That's not real. But I want to see a combination of a CV and a resume. I do. And how would you know that? I don't know. If you're sending them to all 32 NFL teams, who knows? Some people just want one page. Hey, my name is Sam, and this is the way I do things. But if you don't tell me things you've done, I'm not going to know it. And the take-home message is, what are you going to do? I know the person sitting next to you is your best friend, but what are you going to do to make your resume stand out from your best friends that's going to get you that job or get your foot in the door? And the last way I'll say that is, what are you going to do to knock your resume from this pile to this pile to that pile? How are you going to get it there? And with your experiences, it sounds a little self-serving. I went to the best school I could under the circumstances I was faced with. And I went to the best graduate school I could. And I prayed to the right God and got the right answer and got a crazy job out of the box. But somebody might say, well, what do you mean you don't have a resume? I said, I've got all the makings for a resume, it just never got typed.
It's such an impressive story because, like you said, it's not real.
That's not real. No, 2 NFL jobs, 16 years, 26 years, never applied for either one. No resume. That's nuts.
But it also speaks to who you are character-wise and as a worker and as an athletic trainer.
Yeah, but now you're going to make me tell you about the bribes I paid.
Well, you've already bribed me. We already discussed that.
I mean, all of the stuff I had, that...
So, I mean, on the same note of experiences and non-for-profit and volunteer work, speaking directly to the students who are putting together their resumes, because it is a highlight of your end of college career, right? You're going into the workforce. What sticks out? What makes that first jump from this pile to this pile? Is it time spent at a non-for-profit? Is it the school you went to? What pulls it out for you?
I mean, that too is a no-brainer. What kind of job are you applying for? And what is your educational preparation for that job?
Okay.
That's a no-brainer. But, whether you worked at this church and you did this and you covered this Special Olympics event and you covered these marathons and you did this for the police department, it's all good. But the big hole to jump through is, what have you done to be prepared for the job you're applying for? And let me call it the way I see it. You aspire to come out of college and work for the world champion Super Bowl team, whoever it is. And it just so happens the college you went for doesn't have football. In fact, you really didn't work in the athletic training room. You took all of the courses. I'm not painting a bad picture, but that doesn't jump up off the desk.
Yeah.
And I've had to tell some people that. And in the same respect, physical therapists and I've had physical therapists call me and say, I want to be the head athletic trainer for XYZ. I said, are you a certified athletic trainer? I said, no, I'm not. I said, therein lies a problem. So, when you aspire for something, there are the 3 P's to a career: preparation, preparation, preparation. And if you've just decided to prepare the day you're doing your resume, I don't want to say the cart's way behind the horse. I think some of this stuff starts in today's youngsters. It's hard to decide what you want to do. And I morph into the fact you need to chase your passion. Passion is one of the things that people exude. You don't have to talk to them about it. You'll figure out what their passion is. And can you put passion on a resume? I'm not so sure. But I digress. The long and short of it is, you need to prepare in the best way, with the best experiences, to aim toward the job you want to have. I don't really think that my resume would prepare me for the International Space Station. Other than the fact I went to Purdue, and a lot of astronauts went to Purdue. But you know where I'm going there.
Yeah.
That I'd like to, from being around a mentor, hanging around somebody, getting a taste, see if you like it.
Mhm.
I went to physical therapy school and during my Jets career, and with a couple of partners opened a physical therapy practice. I loved running it. I was proud of it, but I really didn't like doing it because I had been working with superhumans for college and into, let's call it 10 years worth of pros.
Mm-hmm.
People that in a pathological state are healthier than people in a healthy state on the street. They're superhumans or athletes,
mm-hmm.
whether it's football, basketball, elite runners, whatever they are. And I was so spoiled by them that working with regular patients, I call it the way I see it. I was spoiled by it.
Yeah.
I was spoiled by it. And, I'm the one that jumping off to the side, but a lot of times you tell someone to do 3 sets of 10 exercise and you have to sit there 1 to 8, come on now, 9, 10. With athletes, 3 sets of 10, 27, 20. I said, no, slow down. 52, just stop.
Yeah.
That's the and it's easily addicting. And of course, games and excitement and 3 P's, preparation.
And I think what's obviously interesting about your path without the resume and jumping from NFL team to NFL team, you also went to grad school when you were working in the NFL. And you started, you didn't?
No. I graduated from Purdue. Now your audience is going to say, oh my goodness, maybe he saw Noah's Ark come by. I left Purdue, I was there 72 to 76.
Okay.
And I left, technically graduated in May, didn't go to graduation. It was 2 weeks away from when we ended school. I didn't want to wait. Went home, went to work, went to physical therapy school July of 77 at Northwestern. So I said that wrong. July of 76, excuse me. Came out, graduated undergrad, and literally a month and a half later went to physical therapy school.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, I also knew that I was putting myself between a rock and a hard spot because the particular school that I chose, graduation, was going to be the end of September the following year.
Okay.
There are no sports jobs, fall sports jobs available the end of September.
Or they're not the sports jobs you want.
Well, I had made up my mind when I was matriculating to Northwestern that I would deal with that. Mm-hmm. And I would go work for a couple of years in physical therapy and walk up the ladder that most normal people get the chance to walk up. This job, small college, bigger job, maybe this, maybe that, maybe your ultimate goal to the NFL. And I was going to be ready for that. And instead, God had other plans. And I came out of school on September 30th, and I went to the New York Jets on October 1st. You figure that one out?
So what would you advise our students to look at in terms of experience that's going to put them in that upper echelon of?
Well, one of the things that may be dated in what I'm saying is just get the best possible education you can. Now, I don't want all of the teachers, and my wife has been a college professor and she's a PhD nurse. She might kill me if I said, you do not need all A's, but you need a bunch of relevant courses at a relevant school and things you've done in your free time and on and on and on. When I was an undergraduate, I like to say, play on words, that I let my education get in the way of my schooling. Mm-hmm. Meaning that I worked as an intern student trainer at college, but the other time I was a student, like 100% student. And did I see it coming? Well, I came from a pretty educated family, but I was a B student in high school. But all of a sudden I went the other way. Instead, they say you drop a grade point in college. I went the other way. I played the A game. Mm-hmm. My grades didn't get me my job, but I just think that where you went, what you did, the things that cover this, hey, no one wants to cover wrestling at this event 2 hours away. Will you do it? Bus trip? Overnight? Yeah, I'm all about it. Let's go. And the experiences that gave or whatever have you. But, we can talk about whether you think outside of the box or you think real good inside the box, but at least think about things. And who you're friends with, who your mentors are, who you talk to, I don't want to make people heroes, but people you look up to, ask them how they did it. My situation just doesn't apply. Mm-hmm. My thing is too fantasy world. And also it's way too dated. Mm-hmm. It's way too dated. But, you can't have enough stuff on your resume. You can't go to a better school and a better school. I understand finances, family, where you live. I get that. Mm-hmm. But just do the best you can. Mm-hmm. And the best you can may not get you where you want. Mm-hmm. But, and people say, well, I can't be like him, pointing to me because he's had this, he rolled dice, he comes up with, snake eyes I don't know. It's just crazy.
Well, thank you again. Until next time.
This has been a presentation of the CV Academics Foundation, home of the AMP Honors Program.